Hey everyone, my name's Nick, and today I am talking about Book 6 of the Wheel of Time series, Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan. And I gotta say, overall, this is just kind of an average book, unfortunately. Now, I think this book had some great scenes and some great things happen, but as I said, overall, it just didn't really click with me. There were a few things that were just like really glaring, pretty giant issues. First and foremost, and one thing that I found extremely annoying and almost a little bit condescending is Robert Jordan has this terrible habit of re-describing in like crazy detail things that we've already learned in previous books. For instance, the feeling in the void, right? For men especially. The meaning of the dragon tattoo on the Aiel chief, or tattoos in Rand's case. There's so many more, but it's like I've been hearing about this, especially for the feeling that men are in the void, for quite literally 6 books now. And for some reason, he has to take the time to describe it to me once again as if I am a child and I cannot remember what he wrote before. It's like I said, it feels almost condescending, and I really don't like it at all. Another thing that I really didn't like, as far as the writing is concerned, are all of the love stories and the interactions between the characters who have these supposed love stories. Rand Aviendha, Rand Elaine, Rand and Min, and then in this one, a newer one that is now flourishing is Egwene and Gawyn. I really don't like them. Every single time there is like 2 of the love interests on screen, or any of the characters talking about their love interests, it just makes me cringe. It's so bad. And unfortunately, a majority of this book is spent with characters that are in love, but the love stories they don't feel natural. They don't feel real. I understand that, like, for instance, in the case of Egwene and Gawyn, there's supposed to be this extra time spent off screen together whenever she was a novice and he was in the tower training. And so that's where that relationship flourished and blossomed. But I don't feel that. There was never really major hints to make it feel that way. It was basically like, in the previous books, Gawyn saw Egwene, thought she was cute, and now he's in love. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Egwene's dreaming about him, and she just loves him too. It's like, it makes no sense to me. It's cringe. I don't like it. It's bad. Now, another thing that I did not particularly like, and maybe this is just a personal taste, but in like the first half to maybe 3/4 of the book, I feel that the point of views are being changed way too much. Now, I do like the seeing through all these different characters, getting to spend more time with a lot of these other Forsaken, Samael, Grendel, Cimarog. I like these other characters, but it feels like we're just jumping so often. It just feels very scattered. I don't have time to like really connect with this character that I'm reading about, because then all of a sudden it switches to another one. It feels too scattered. It feels like it's going too much and too fast. Now, this does tighten up near the end. The latter half to quarter of the book, it really tightens up, and then we get a lot of time spent with Perrin, spent through Rand. Now, those are issues that I had with the writing and the writing style of Robert Jordan in this book. There are some other things narratively that I didn't like, some decisions that he made. First of which being the Forsaken being given new bodies and being reborn again. Now, I understand why this has happened. To make the effects of Balefire so important, that this kind of had to happen, right? All of these earlier Forsaken that Rand has killed are now being given new bodies because, hey, they serve the Dark One, Lord of the Graves, right? He can just do whatever the heck he wants with people who've died, apparently. But it just makes me feel like everything that happened in book 1, 2, and 3, where you have 4 or 5, I think it's only 4, different Forsaken being killed by Rand, it's basically like, psych, that never happened. Like, it just makes you feel like everything that he did in those previous books was for nothing. So it kind of undermines that, and it just makes me feel kind of bad. I understand that because at that point Rand doesn't kill them with Balefire, why they are being reborn and why like narratively that makes sense, it feels kind of cheap because it's undermining the stuff that happens earlier in the series to me. Now, another thing that I really just cannot stand is how unlikable really all of the female characters are. Nynaeve in this one is just so annoying, right? She's mad the entire book, which is almost fine to me because in the previous book she was terrible and this one wasn't as bad as that. But whenever she starts being around Mat and she's like screaming at him to leave him alone, she's just being such a baby about it. It's like, why? It doesn't make much sense to me. Their interactions have been so limited in the books because they've just been kind of separate for so long now. And she finally sees him again and she just acts awful towards him. It's really weird. Now, I have two other characters that were just absolutely awful to me and is ridiculous. The next that I will talk about is Egwene. Obviously, in this book, Egwene gets raised to the Amyrlin seat of the rebel Aes Sedai, which is fine to me, right? The Aes Sedai are basically looking for a figurehead, a puppet, to be controlled by the Hall of the Tower. So they just part her up there kind of as like, I don't know, plausible deniability. But what I really hate about Egwene is her constant lying and deception. And then in this book, she's finally caught in her lies. The Aes Sedai call her back from the Wise Ones, from the Aiel. And, you know, she kind of has to confess that, hey, I've been lying to you guys this entire time. Basically, I'm only an accepted. And for some reason in this situation, I feel like I'm supposed to feel good. Like, oh yeah, finally. Oh, she's so honest. She's been doing all this lying and she's hated lying to everybody. She's such a good person really, but she had to lie and finally she can come clean. No, I hate her still. It doesn't feel like that to me at all. It feels like she got caught in her lies. She was finally forced to come clean about it. And then, you know, she's already leaving. She finally comes clean when there are going to be little to no consequences of her lies. So now she's no longer going to be kicked out from being trained by the Wise Ones because she's been called away. She's done. So the real consequences that she has been hiding from are no longer there. And that's the only reason that she's coming forward and telling them all the things she's lied about. It just doesn't feel like a genuine apology. Like, sure, she gets beat a little bit by the people she lied to. Oh, wow. Oh, she's not going to heal her bruises. Wow, she's so righteous. She's such a great person. No, she's a liar. The only reason she came clean about the thing she was lying about is because she got caught and there was now no more real consequences. Now, with how much I've been totally bagging on Egwene in book 5 and book 6 and how much I actually hate her, it is quite surprising that I hate another character more than her. Faile. We don't get a point of view from Perrin until the last quarter of the book, maybe the last third. And my God, I absolutely hate Faile so much. She is my least favorite character I have read so far. The way that she treats Perrin, the way that she acts towards Perrin is absolutely disgusting to me. And it makes me so mad. I probably hate her this much more than Egwene because it's like if I was in a relationship or married to a person like this, that would be my idea of one of the worst marriages you could ever get into. Someone who is just constantly mad at you for no reason, ignoring you, literally just ignoring you, won't talk to you, won't tell you what is wrong. You're just supposed to know what's wrong, and you're trying so hard to make it up. It's just awful. I absolutely cannot stand the way that she treats him. I hate her more than any other character I have read in these 6 books. And that is saying a lot because I really hate Egwene in this book and the last one, and I really hated Nynaeve, especially in the last one. Now, I had kind of a lot of negative things to say about this book. I'm done now. I'm going to move on to a couple of things that I really enjoyed. In this book, there's a bunch of really cool events that happen, a bunch of really cool things that are going on. The earliest and first of which is Nynaeve healing, stilling, and gentling. There's a bunch of little, I don't want to call them Easter eggs because they're very apparent, but there's a lot of really cool things that you find out that are just awesome. Semirog was apparently the one that saved Rand in the Stone of Tear in book 4, in the beginning of book 4, which was a really cool thing to find out. It's like the whole time you thought it was Lanfear, and turns out, nope, it was Semirog for some reason. A couple of other little facts that came out. Rand's mother is Tigraine, who was the previous heir to the throne of Andor before Morgase, right? And he was like getting really in depth to trying to figure out whether he was blood related to Elaine, because he was getting a little incesty there for a second. But luckily he was in the clear. He's good. But not only that, he is half brothers with Galad, and what I think cooler and more interesting is Lord Luke is his uncle, or at least I assume it to be Lord Luke, because as described in this book, Tigraine's brother Luke, he went like north and disappeared and was never seen again. So I'm assuming it's the same person, and that's pretty cool. I've never realized that before. And then the last thing is the ending. This whole end sequence was so amazing. So fun. Rand getting kidnapped, Perrin going and chasing after him with the Aiel and with Cairhien, and the Ashaman coming in at the last second, saving everybody. It like just seeing the total destruction and disgusting ways that they are killing people. It was awesome. It was really cool. But it's, again, that end sequence, all of it was so cool. It was so fun, and it really redeemed this book a lot. If this ending scene, the Dumai's Well, was worse, or it wasn't so fun, or it was something else completely, this book would have been like a 4 or 5 out of 10. I think with this one, it was like a 6 out of 10, but still just, unfortunately, a pretty middle of the road book. At this point, I'm really seeing Robert Jordan, his writing, and these books are just trending down, unfortunately. Books 1 through 4, they were trending up. Every single one after the other from 1 through 4. Each one was going up higher and higher and higher. And then I got to book 5, and it's like, this one, there's some things I don't really like. It's going back down. And book 6 now, we're going down even further. You know, it's not looking great. I still overall enjoyed this book. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it was fine. But that's my thoughts about it overall. Lord of Chaos, I would still recommend reading this book, because, I mean, I would read this book just for the end sequence of Dumai's Well alone. It was awesome. It was really good. But next I will be on to book 7 of the Wheel of Time series, A Crown of Swords. If you're interested in that, stay tuned for it. And everybody, thanks for watching. Hey, Nick here. If you enjoyed this video, please gently caress that like button for us.
And Ray, thanks for watching. It was a blast. Make sure to hit that subscribe if you want to stay up to date with what we're doing, what me and him are doing. There. Me and him, Nick and Ray. Subscribe.